Welly, welly, well. It is May 23rd because it is, 12 something at night. And we are back over at the Encino Park and Ride. Where is he? There's a doofy. Hey, doofy. And it's been interesting because here we are few months later, and being a big old I told you so, a lot of the things that I had initially put forth, and that actually Tracy had put forth to me first, have panned out. Taken a lot of fucking criticism for our coronavirus COVID anti-views. It's the COVID don'ts versus the COVID do's. The pro-vids versus the no-vids. Well, shit's really unraveling and coming out. And the more that it does, the people that are entrenched in that side are digging in even harder, because being typically human, they just won't fucking give when they know they're caught. They gotta just deny, lie. Oddly enough, I've always kind of hated Republicans, but I find myself, and I still hate Trump, except that I think he kind of tried to tell everybody at the beginning, and he's been doing something about it now. So it turns out that he's going to end up looking like the fucking champ after all, which I don't really like. But on the other hand, none of the candidates look any better. This guy might be a piece of shit in office, but at least he has been in the office and faced a couple of issues. So it's better the devil you do than the devil you don't. During that time, our life, I keep thinking that it'll plateau out as far as the stress levels, that it'll eventually, the universe throwing shit at us will run out of shit for us. But now we don't have multiple issues per week. We have them per day. And the cops, I don't know what the fuck they think they're doing or that I'm doing, but they are on us as if we are fucking enemy number one. We're so paranoid, but on the other hand, completely justified and well-founded. To recap, Tracy's been put in jail for a week over trumped-up charges. I got put in jail by 8 cars, 20 cops, drawing guns for obstruction of a shopping cart investigation. I had called the stores that were involved, asked their permission, which was granted, and that's only because they took our car. So they took our RV and our car. And then last year, a different group, but in the same precinct, and so the whole thing's tied together, put me in jail for a month. I never saw court. They drummed it up like I had said this at arraignment and preliminary hearing. I never did go to court. If I could ever sue them, and it gets to be found out, because every courtroom has a camera, it'll be shown that these pleas or this paperwork were done, and I was not present. So there's nothing put beyond them. When they did come in and arrest me for the shopping cart deal, and they were drawing guns, we are convinced that the only reason they didn't just fucking open up and blast me, her, and the dog was because there was also so many people around and local business owners standing literally right next to us and behind us. And that would be just too much bad press. But now the same cop that orchestrated all that shit We didn't see him for over a year. And then all of a sudden, we go down to the Rouse at the end of Havenhurst, by Havenhurst and Ventura, just to get coffee one day. We're scratching ass, scratching balls. And a cop car comes in behind us and kind of slow drives around the back of us and then parks kind of like looking at us. I mean, I got a picture of it. You can tell that there's definitely malice involved. And I go past it with him to walk. Sure enough, here comes this piece of shit Boca Negra. He's in this. He goes, "Hey, bud." I go, "Fuck you, pussy piece of shit. We ain't buds, motherfucker. Don't confuse yourself. There's no friendship involved." So I called Internal Affairs again. And I said, "Hey, this motherfucker is stalking us." And I had called him before. And they go, "Well, yeah. Did they give you the results of the last time you called?" I go, "No." They go, "Well, yeah, we investigated and concluded there was no basis, and so they just dropped it." "Yeah, of course, cops investigating cops. Yeah, no, they're fine." That's just like 2 years ago when there was a spate of cops shooting people, and they had opened it up on people like in their back, like shooting them in the back. By Charlie Beck, chief of police at that time. "We have investigated, and it turns out that every cop shooting this year was completely justified." Yeah, of course, because, So yeah, this guy Boca Negra. But I have badmouthed this dude before. And then when I mentioned that I was going to call Internal Affairs again, him and his fucking little bitch-ass partner cut and ran. Well, and then they lurked around us all day. So we're back over in their little precinct region. But you know what? I'm sick of fucking running scared from cops. Yeah, they'll kill you. They'll frame you. They'll fucking stalk you and do everything that you can't do to anyone else. But there's always a time where you just got to go, "You know what? Fuck it. Enough is enough. I got to fucking handle my scandal." And there's division in the country to the point of armed conflict. And I personally believe it is merely the tip of the iceberg. The thing that was set in motion, and apparently by Bill Gates, is hard to deny. I have, in fact, met Bill at Comdex in Vegas back in 1980 before he was the gigantic, famous, rich person that he is. And, well, it's known throughout the computer industry, that software industry, that Bill built Microsoft from stolen programmers that he lured away from companies that they were contracted to with, fulfilled promises of super huge money schemes. And so he built Microsoft. And I guess that's sort of how business is done, except that it lays kind of a precedent of how he behaves. Now, here's a dude that is into depopulation. He's into population control, and he stated publicly that as a planet, as a species, we need to lose a lot of people. But all of a sudden, he's so concerned about our health and welfare over this bullshit COVID virus, he wants to vaccinate everybody. Hey, for one, why is anybody listening to a fucking computer guy, or for that matter, Zuckerberg, or the guy from WHO, or any of these non-doctor scientists? Why is anybody listening to them about their health? But the other thing is, the statistics on COVID don't bear out. The bottom line is this. How many people died and how many people are in the country? This got validated, I've been saying this for months now, about 0.025%. So 25,000th times 100, that's your chances of getting it. But, of course, everybody's afraid because they also believe that if they buy a lottery ticket with a 1 in 176 million chance of winning, that they're going to be rich forever. So, yeah, delude yourself, people. Think you're special. Anyway, with auto-suggestion, algorithms that take into account your tastes and likes and selections on the computer, you don't think this guy has data about what is the most prevalent, basic, primal fear that people have? Well, they're afraid of a lot of things. But the enemy they're afraid of most is the one they can't see, because fear of the unknown and fear of dark. Plus, in America, it's not like intelligence is rampant. So, yeah, they picked a good one. And then they have this strategy that if you deny their lie, then you're somehow a fucking terrorist, commie, pinko bastard that wants to destroy America. Well, but now it's all coming down. So, yeah, it's been a lot of shit. Me and Trace personally see there's already riots, armed conflicts, and people are just barely crawling out of their houses at this point. Now, when the bills come due, when they finally lift the last restriction, and there's no past due rent forgiveness or any other thing, all the people that have been put off for a few months, they're going to come with their hands out hard and want their luce, then start kicking people. They thought a homeless problem was a problem before, and they say there's like 200,000 homeless in the whole United States. I think that's vastly short. I think it's probably 1 million. I personally see that the explosion of people that are going under and are gonna go under once the bills hit the fucking fan is gonna be. I think we're gonna literally have plural millions of homeless in the United States. Then it's gonna be a problem, because what they thought was an annoyance is gonna be a fucking upheaval. Because then they won't be able to say, oh, it's drug addiction, mental illness. Oh, no. This was government policy. How the fuck, according to the Constitution, can you prevent people from working? Now, here's an observation I made, having been a member of the armed forces. The people that join the armed forces don't intend to do it forever. They're your neighbor, your cousin, your uncle, your aunt, your mom. When you join the armed forces to defend America's constitutional rights, you have to give up yours while you're serving and follow the Uniform Code of Military Justice. But this is a sacrifice that armed force people make because they love their country and they love their family and their neighbors and friends. But in the doing so, because when you're fighting a war, you can't sit there. It's not democratic. You can't, have a committee about what we should do now. It's just one guy calling the quarterback of the fucking death. He's calling it, and everybody's got to follow orders. But that's because you don't have any constitutional rights. Whereas, if you don't join the armed forces and you don't give up your constitutional rights, the freedom that the military fights for is that you don't have to follow orders. So where do these people get off ordering people anyway? especially some Gumby-headed fucking upside-down tripod fucking looking goon like Gavin Newsom with his sidekick, pokey motherfucker Eric Garcetti. These two buffoons, and like everybody's been noting, even given if they were to stay at home, like Newsom's got like a pad, like 12,000 something, 500 square feet with every